Memphis Grizzlies. It's time to keep a journal. It's time for you to think about keeping receipts of all the haters of people who said that this team is nothing with Ja Morant. Grizzlies are rolling. The Grizzlies are rolling and are in danger in the playoffs this year. I could see them beating Utah. And if they do, you need to just make sure to look back at all of your accomplishments, all of the adversity that you faced, and look over all you overcame, because those voices right now are loud. People are currently saying at this very moment, you are better without Ja. Imagine how sweet it will feel to reread all of those quotes when they come so very clearly wrong. Miami Heat. It's time to meet new people. Time to expand your friend group. Miami Heat just canceled a game because they couldn't field 8 players against the Spurs. Yeah. No team needs more depth than the Miami Heat. Yep, that just happened today. May I suggest a G League mixer? Or perhaps a meet and greet with other GMs to add some more depth to this piece, because Pat Riley needs to add length to a bench, or we're going to see Udonis Haslem in crunch time, and that means night-night, sleep mask, and just Jimmy Butler starting a coffee franchise. Milwaukee Bucks, take time to compliment yourself. This is very important in 2022. You're NBA champions. No one will ever take that away from you, despite the fact that you were a shoe print away from not making the Eastern Conference Finals, or the fact that Trae Young almost bounced you out of the Eastern Conference Finals, or how you went down 2-0 to the Suns and needed Chris Paul to break his wrist in order to win it all. None of that is important information. Revel in your success. What is important is that Giannis recently said his next challenge might not be in Milwaukee. So compliment yourself on giving him all of the pieces that he needed in order to feel completely content to move on to a new chapter that's not here. At any moment, that time could come to a close. Minnesota Timberwolves, 2022 is the time for you to reinvent yourself. You know, and we know, that you've been the worst franchise in the NBA for maybe even all of sports for a while now. But now you've got a real owner, and you've got a real coach, and you've got an exciting roster. Instead of a franchise built around a kitty cat, you finally got yourself a pit bull in Ant Edwards. So get yourself a new wardrobe. You know what I mean? Time for you to remake everything that we know about you. Don't be attached to the dog shit franchise that you used to be. Things are different now. Ditch those sweater vests. Ditch those button-ups and those little hobbit shoes that you used to wear. It's time for you to change your entire wardrobe. Everything that you think is right about style is time to go. Yeah. Move forward. It's a new era for the Minnesota Timberwolves. If Ant Edwards wouldn't wear it, then neither should you. New Orleans Pelicans, it's time to stick. We know what this one is, don't we? Stick to healthy habits. Looking at you, Zion. Steak and Cake Williamson. Zion, welcome to the Smoothie King Arena, where we have it's 6'10", 425 pounds, Zion Steak and Cake Williamson. To be clear, in case you didn't hear the irony, that was a fat joke. But I'm not just talking about food. We're talking about healthy habits inward as well. Sticking to your word. Being the person that you would like to be your neighbor. Love the neighbors. Treat others like you would like to treat yourself. I don't know. When you tell J.J. Redick that you're going to send him to a New York team and he ends up in Dallas at the trade deadline, the only person you're hurting is yourself. Him and Zion share the same agent. How big of an asshole have you have to be in order to get the world's nicest guy, Alvin Gentry, to threaten to beat your ass. Come on now. This man's 70 years old, and he was like, come and get this. Come catch these hands. Take a look at yourself in the mirror. Be less toxic and choose less toxic strategies for your franchise before no one wants to be around you. New York Knicks. Take a trip somewhere with no destination in mind. Probably the most perfect Tibbs resolution of all times, I would say. He's been taking trips as a head coach with no destination in mind for pretty much his entire career. And this year, I think it's going to be all about the road trip. Getting out in the world. You know what I mean? Without an itinerary. Hit the road. Get some snacks. And forget about the fact that you are currently in, checks notes, 10th place in the East when you were in 4th place in the East last year. That does not matter. It's all about the journey. It's all about the vibes. And you've got Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier for the rest of the year. Oklahoma City. It's time for you to embrace spontaneity in 2022. You literally have every draft pick from now until 2035. Can you use one? Can we have you use one? There are players to be gotten. There are desperate teams out here with no draft capital that will trade their star for some young pieces. It's time for you to do something new. Don't sell this time around. Buy. It's okay. Shea is the face of the franchise. He needs some help. It's just, you can't have it just be him and Josh Giddey and 45 draft picks till the end of time that you keep rolling over. Like, you might be able to steal Cam Reddish. Give two draft picks, maybe a piece. Get Cam Reddish from the Hawks. They'll do it. They have a salary cap issue here, folks. Teams can transform themselves overnight. We know that. Tomorrow isn't promised. Shea could turn into Paul George at any moment. Wouldn't that be a shame? Go get another piece to pair with SGA and Giddey before he decides, hey, maybe this isn't working. Orlando Magic. This one's important. 2022, I think your resolution needs to be to defend yourself, to learn how to defend yourself. Because aren't you tired of all of the slander? Aren't you tired of being 20-point dogs every single night? Aren't you tired of me saying your franchise isn't even worth watching on television? Or Adam Silver scheduling you only twice all year on national TV, both times the same week during March Madness? Folks, every time I slander, or anyone slanders you, all you guys say back is, yeah, we are really bad. Fight back! It's time in 2022 to say something. Say, well, Trysta, how is Portland doing? How's Dame gonna do? Maybe Dame wants to leave your dog shit franchise. Look at you talking. Employ some of the tactics that, say, Philadelphia uses. Venom. Gaslighting. Deflection. Straw man arguments. The world next year is your oyster. Don't just be a doormat. Folks, you can't be the Sacramento Kings of the East. You're better than that. 76ers, it's time to say goodbye in 2022 to toxic friends. It may feel impossible now, but there is a way to break up with a once friend turned frenemy without blowing up your franchise. Sometimes ghosting is appropriate, but in this case, I think a trade makes the most sense. Yeah. Ghosting's been kind of what you have been doing. Right. This can get everyone the closure that they need. And if you can't move Ben Simmons with Daryl Morey, then maybe it's time to move on from Daryl Morey. Maybe they're both toxic. Phoenix Suns, it's time to let go of grudges in 2022. I know your owner has been accused of pretty much everything under the sun, every ism. Racism, sexism, ageism, classism, flatulism. I know it's been hanging over you all season. It's time to let it go. Only by moving on can DeAndre Ayton get back to being the monster that he was last season. You might regret not taking Luka, but the time has come to stop thinking about this. You made your decisions. Robert Sarver, you're a Wildcat. Ayton's a wildcat. That's what you decided to do. Plus, by the way, DeAndre Ayton's in way better shape than Luka anyway. Luka might eat himself out the league. You were some close calls away from winning the chip last year, and Ayton was a big part of that. Promise him the max this summer and let bygones be bygones. Portland Trail Blazers, maybe my biggest advice for your resolution this year should be to take a break from social media. With all the problems that this team has, it's tough out there on these streets. The New Year's resolution should be to avoid social media at all costs. Watch a movie, read a book, learn a new hobby, look inward. Because I think maybe you need to find some time away from the hustle and bustle of how the world perceives you, because I promise you it's not good. And it's not real. It's an illusion. Social media is an illusion. And also on top of that, when you're reading, maybe also find out what makes Damian Lillard happy and then do that thing. Find him another piece. Sacramento Kings. Focus on a passion and not the way you look. You know what I mean? Like, we know how you look. We do. The Kings have the worst reputation and the worst look, worst jerseys possibly in the NBA. People barely even know they exist. You walk into a room, Sacramento Kings, and no one even sees you there. That's how ugly you are. That's how ugly. But don't be concerned about how you look. Focus on what you love. Don't allow others' perceptions of you from keeping you happy. That's what matters. Focus on what makes you particularly special. Everyone is unique in their own right. We're all like little snowflakes. And people forget that everyone thinks that you are the worst. You know what I mean? You have an abundance of guards. Might I suggest playing them all at the same time? Yes. That's what makes you interesting. That's what makes you unique. San Antonio Spurs, 2022, might I suggest, going someplace you've never been before. Like retirement. Ooh. Looking at you, Greg Popovich, it's time. Hang it up, folks. Becky Hammon's about to leave for the WNBA because she doesn't think she's ever going to get a shot to coach this franchise. That would be criminal. Mm-hmm. It's been enough time. You know this team is not going anywhere. All you want to do is watch film of Estonia anyway. So, time to take a back seat, folks. It's time for you to go another place outside of being the head coach of the I almost said Sacramento. San Antonio Spurs. Move up to the front office, perhaps, where you can watch Becky Hammon succeed from afar. And Estonia footage. Exactly. Toronto Raptors. Wouldn't it be nice to start 2022 with a clean slate? Maybe it's time to let go of your grudges. I know this team hasn't gotten over the beef between Pascal Siakam and Nick Nurse when Pascal Siakam basically told Nick Nurse, like, fuck off. And Nick Nurse was like, I wanted to trade your ass anyway. Everyone knows. It's clear. Pascal is no longer the shiny new object. That is Scotty Barnes. But it's time to move on, folks. It's time to get over it. He's not going anywhere. Apparently nobody wants to trade for him. The Golden State Warriors were supposed to do it, and they didn't do it. All 6'7" to 6'9" of your roster, that entire 6'7" to 6'9" squad, you guys are all the same player anyway, so what are you guys so mad at? It's like looking in the fucking mirror. Spot it, you got it. Whatever you're so mad about, player next to you, it's probably the thing you like least about yourself. Like your lack of a fucking jump shot. Utah Jazz, it's time in 2022 to do something that scares you. Facing your fears isn't easy, I know it. But fear, it serves an important purpose. It gets you out of the first round of the playoffs, for example. The Utah Jazz will never be able to win a chip the way that this roster is put together. And I know you're good. You're a wagon in the regular season, but everybody knows that you're not going anywhere in the playoffs. Like, every single commentator, every single team, every single player on every single team knows that you are a 3 seed in the West and nothing more. That's sad. You literally gave up a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets. Then you did it again to the LA Clippers. You need to make a trade. Trade Joe Ingles. Trade Bojan. And then when you're acclimated to that, try a new fear, which is potentially to trade, I don't know, Rudy Gobert. Washington Wizards. It's time for you in 2022 to talk less and listen more. You've been saying a lot of things. All these accomplishments that you've had this year, trading all these little pieces in the Russell Westbrook deal. You're patting yourself on the back. Tommy Shepard's got a new deal, et cetera, et cetera. But Bradley Beal has told the world he's not re-signing yet. He's not committed to this franchise. That is a change of tune, a big change of tune, to one of the most loyal guys in the NBA. And if you're listening real hard, that means that you are very close, on the knife's edge, of losing him for absolutely nothing. Listen to Bradley Beal when he speaks. This man just got vaccinated. He cares about the success of him and his team. I know everyone thinks they're working to make Bradley Beal happy, but are you? Are you? They don't even have a real point guard to complement Bradley Beal. Maybe you need to figure out how to make that happen. Maybe you need to trade Montrezl Harrell. I know that hurts. And Spencer Dinwiddie for a fucking real point guard that can get his own shot, who can play make, who can play defense. Because you're never, ever, ever, if Bradley Beal leaves, find another superstar of his caliber who wants to stay in D.C. So that's all the 30 teams. In the spirit of the season, I thought I would give you my own New Year's resolution of 2022. It is to be more active. My goal in 2022 is to be far more active on the Heat Check. That means producing more content, responding more actively to fans online, and yes, creating a lot more TikToks, videos, and blogs. We need to blow up the Heat Check. I'm going to give my man Brock more responsibilities in 2022, so watch out for that as well. He will be on the mic, so watch out for live streams, reaction videos, and commentary more in the league. I'm going to be everywhere in 2022. Hopefully pissing more fans off, saying things that either come true or mush completely, like the fact that I said the Cavs were my favorite team in the East, and then Ricky Rubio that very night tore his ACL. But be prepared, be warned, I'm going to be more annoying and more places than ever in 2022. That's all the time that we have for the Heat Check. We will be back Monday evening with a new episode. I hope everyone has a happy, safe New Year's Eve. And a happy new year, and get on that Peloton. Do not forget to download, subscribe, tell all your friends. Follow us on social at This Heat Check and at Trysta Krick on TikTok. We will see you in 2022, folks.